Hello and welcome again to the South Bristol Chess Club Championships 2013. We remain in Group A this week for our second game, which is Stephen Meek against Dr. Iain Bourne. Now this promises to be a very good game indeed, with both players in excellent form. What do we know about Stephen Meek? Well, Stephen is currently the South Bristol Chess Club Board 1, and this season he achieved a grade of 203 ECF grade, which is very impressive, and he's actually ranked 181st in the UK. He faces Dr. Iain Bourne, who's been a revelation since joining us, often commonly known by players in the club as the Supremacy or Dr. Death on the chessboard. So this should be a big encounter here. Stephen Meek is one of the favourites for the tournament, so Dr. Bourne will have his work cut out, but he's playing really well. The players are moving towards the board now to get started, so let's go over and join the action.
I'm playing Iain Bourne tonight, and I'm going to open up with the standard pawn e4.
Okay, so I'm playing against Stephen Meek. He plays e4 with an open game, and I reply with c5, the Sicilian defence, which is something I've been playing since I was about 12 years old.
My opponent has just played c5, which is taking us into a Sicilian defence, so I'll play the normal move to that, which is knight f3.
Suggesting he's going to play an open Sicilian. I play knight c6, which again is fairly standard. I've been playing it for a long time.
My opponent has just played knight c6, so I'm now going to give him the option of going wrong and play a tricky little sideline, knight c3.
Transposing into an open Sicilian. Well, I tend to play dragons, so I'm going to play g6.
Black has just played g6, which is a sensible move, and I'm going to get my pieces out as quickly as possible and play for bishop c4.
So he's played bishop c4, which is a non-theoretical line. If I didn't know that he was a very strong player, I would think that he doesn't really know his openings, but this clearly is something that he's familiar with. Anyway, the obvious move now is simply to continue to fianchetto my bishop with bishop g7.
Black has just played bishop g7, and I'm going to get on with things myself and play 5 castle.
And I play d6. This is important because in lines where he might play, if I play e6, then the d6 square can become weak, and this leads to a fairly standard formation. I'm just waiting to see what white chooses to do next.
Black has just played d6. I was hoping for e6, where I intended to sack a pawn with d4, cd and knight b5, in which I open a lot of lines up against the king. In this case, d6 is a little bit more solid, so I'm going to play a solid move myself and play d3.
d3 as I suspected. Of course I'd like to play bishop g4 here, but that fails to bishop takes f7, king takes knight g5 check, and picking up the bishop on g4 and I'm a pawn down. In any case, I think the best idea is to blunt the bishop on the a2 to g7 diagonal and play e6.
With my last move, I left a little trap. If he plays 6 bishop g4, then I'll play bishop takes f7 check, king takes, and then I'll play knight g5 and pick up the bishop on g4. So he plays a sensible move, and he has just played 6 e6. And to that, I'm going to try and probe at these dark squares now, and I'm going to play bishop f4.
Okay, bishop f4. I was anticipating bishop g5. Clearly he's got good development, but his pieces seem to be hitting pawns at the moment, and I'm quite happy with my position as it stands. I decided to play a6, which both threatens to expand on the queen side and stops his knight ever from coming into b5. It's a fairly thematic move.
Black has just played a6 because I've got ideas of with knight b5, so it's a sensible type move. And now, rather than letting hunt my bishop down, I'm going to give my bishop a flight square and play 8 a3.
So he's played a3. I was wondering whether they might play a4 to prevent queenside expansion. Anyway, I'm going to expand on the queen side anyway with a gain of time, so I'm playing b5.
Black has just played 8 b5, which I was expecting. He's trying to grab some space on the queen side so he can develop his queenside bishop there. And I'm just going to drop my bishop back. Rather than b3, where it can be hit again with knight a5, I'm going to drop it all the way back to a2. So I'm playing 9 bishop a2.
Okay, bishop back to a2. Okay, well, I may as well continue developing. I had anticipated possibly playing b4, hitting the knight, and after a takes b4, c takes b4, knight a4. It wasn't clear to me how I'd make any progress there, and he has chances of playing c3 and d4. So I decided just to keep it solid, and at this point develop my knight to e7, knight g e7.
Black has just played 9, knight g e7. Again, a very sensible square, and the only real square which the knight can go to. I'm going to play a sensible move, connect to my rooks, and try to exchange off these direct square bishops, which should give me a slight plus, and play 10 queen d2.
Okay, queen d2. There's a number of points about this. It means that if I do choose to play at some point b4, he can drop his knight, he can take on b4 and then drop his knight back to d1, and the b2 square is not attacked any longer by the bishop, or at least it's defended by the knight. Also, he has some ideas, I think, about playing bishop h6 and weakening my dark squares. Well, I don't particularly want to commit myself yet to the king's side, so I'm going to play another developing move. I'm playing bishop b7.
Black has just played 10 bishop b7. Again, a very sensible move, just getting his pieces coordinated. And now I'm going to try and get these direct square bishops off. So I'm going to play bishop to h6.
Okay, as suspected, he's played bishop h6, planning to swap off the dark squared bishops. Clearly that's not something I want to happen, and so I'm going to play bishop f6.
Black has just played bishop f6 as to avoid the exchange of these bishops. So I'm going to play a waiting move and see what he does. So I'm going to play 12 rook a e1.
Okay, rook a e1. Stephen's clearly aiming to line his pieces up against my king. On the other hand, I'm wondering whether there's some possibilities here of me castling queenside. With his rooks on f1 and e1, maybe it's a bit safer me considering playing castle queenside. So I'm going to play queen d7 in preparation to keep my options open.
He's just played 12 queen d7. So now I'm going to see what he's going to do with this bishop. I don't expect him to exchange off the bishop on c3, but I'm just going to give him a chance to go wrong and play 13 queen f4.
So queen f4, building up on the queen side and putting the question to the bishop on f6. Well, I'm not too concerned about that because I have the retreating move knight g8. I'm going to play that. It's the only sensible move, knight g8.
Black has just played 13 knight g8, which is what I expected. Again, I'm going to try and get these direct square bishops off if I can. So I'm going to play 14 bishop g5.
So bishop g5, again with his plan of exchanging the dark squared bishops. I don't see any reason why I should allow that, so I'm going to simply drop my bishop back to g7.
Black has just played 14 bishop g7. He really doesn't want to swap these dark squared bishops off, as these endings are known to give white a slight pull. He's now got ideas of playing h6 and g5 in 7 lines, so I'll just give my bishop a flight square and I'll play 15 queen d2.
So queen d2, yes, he had to probably play this because otherwise I was threatening h6 and g5, which obviously wins a piece, and with my king still having the option of going on the queen side, there's no real compensation for it. So queen d7, queen d2. Well, now the obvious move is simply to move my knight back to e7, and we've been repeating the position. So knight g7.
Black has just played knight ge7. So it looks like we're repeating the position. I'm quite a bit down on the clock already. The only real way to play for a win in this position now would be say knight d1, c3, and try and push through d4. As I'm down on the clock, I'm going to keep on trying to persevere with these swapping off the dark square bishops. So I'm going to play 16 bishop h6.
So he plays bishop h6, which is offering a repetition of the position. I don't see any way of gaining any advantage by exchanging, so I will simply bring the bishop back to f6.
I just played 16 bishop f6, again avoiding the exchange of these dark square bishops, so I'm going to play 17 bishop g5.
Bishop g5. Well, maybe this is Stephen just playing for some time to get some moves out of the way. There's not much to think about here. The obvious move is simply to play the bishop back to g7 and wait to see what Stephen has in mind.
Black has played 17 bishop g7. Looking at the position's probably about level. Maybe I should be pressing a little bit more than what I am, but today, as I've run behind on the clock, I'm just going to settle for the draw and play 18 bishop h6.
And bishop h6 again. Well, it seems fairly automatic that I'm going to simply repeat the position. There's no point in wasting any time on this move. I'm going to play bishop f6 and offer a draw and see what happens.
Okay, so a draw is agreed there between Meek and Bourne in a very cagey Sicilian game, with both players playing cat and mouse at the end, trying to get possession of the dark squares. But they both have a half point, and as the other game in the group ended a draw as well, that leaves Group A finally balanced, with everybody on half a point after the first round. Next time we'll be taking a look at Group B, round 1. See you again soon.